So, um, welcome, whatever platform you're joining me on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you had a phenomenal weekend. We are going to kick in gear today. I'm super excited. This evening, we are having our circle, our virtual circle online. If you have not signed up for it, please sign up for it. It's going to be really special. So, I want to start with asking you guys a question. Have you ever noticed that you're having the same kind of conversation over and over again? And you might be having this conversation, let's say, with your sister, with maybe your best friend, even your wife, maybe even a therapist, or maybe it's even going on in your head. You're venting about something. You're venting about something that you're really kind of tired of. You're feeling like, ugh, or you're even overwhelmed with something that's going on in your life and you feel like you've been carrying too much. So you're talking about that, you're talking about your frustrations. And during that time that you're having this conversation, or maybe even toward the end of the conversation, you start to feel like, okay, I feel a little bit better. That kind of helped. I feel a little bit better. But what happens later in the day, maybe even the next day, it starts to come right back. And you start to feel that frustration again, and you start to feel that kind of overwhelm again. Um, and I want to kind of suggest something to you. Maybe that venting isn't enough. You're at the point where talking about it over and over again to other people just isn't getting you the relief that you need. Sit with that for a minute. I want you to just sit with that. What if that's not enough? And there's nothing wrong with venting, right? Because venting helps us release some of the pressure. It helps us feel seen because you're talking to someone else that hopefully really gives you support, who really loves you. But at this moment in time, it's not enough. And then you feel like you're not alone, right? Because if you're talking to that person and they're validating, like, yeah. So you do. You feel like you're not in this world alone. But here's the key about this. Venting isn't meant to transform our lives. It's not. It's created for a bit of relief, but not necessarily to make the changes. So you vented about something that is really aggravating you, frustrating you, all of this stuff, but just venting about it alone is not going to make it go away, isn't going to necessarily make your life better or even get maybe the results that you're looking for, right? Because a lot of us, we want to relieve some of that pressure, and venting lets out some of the pressure, but it doesn't relieve the burden or the weight that you feel like you're carrying. And that's a big deal because most of us don't want to carry all that weight. We really don't want to feel that way, for all of our lives or most of our lives. It just doesn't feel good. So I've been thinking a lot about this lately. And if you caught my video last week, I talked a little bit about some of the things that have been on my mind lately. But I've come back. Those of you who've been following me for a while or whatever, I've come back because there's something heavy on my heart, and I feel like I need to share this. And as I'm going on my journey, I've also realized that I don't want to walk this journey alone. I don't know about you. I don't know what kind of support you have in your life or whatever, but I absolutely love community. I was blessed early on in my 20s to meet some amazing women, Vanessa, Santa, Aiku, Diane, all of you guys who were there in my 20s and showed me what community really was, what it was like, what it felt like, what it was just like being in a community of women who support you, who you don't have to perform for. Imagine that. I don't have to be a certain way. I don't have to look a certain way. I don't have to dress a certain way. My hair doesn't have to be a certain way. I just get to show up as me. And I learned that early on. I got a taste of that early on, and I just crave it all of my life. And now I want to build community for women like that. And so we're doing online circle tonight at 7 p.m. If you're interested, send me a private message and I will send you the details of our online circle tonight. I'm super excited. But let me get back because I digress, but let me get back because part of what I was talking about community is really key here. It is absolutely key. Because what I'm feeling is like women are feeling overwhelmed. They're feeling tired, they're feeling busy, and then they're busy, and then they're feeling overwhelmed with the busyness. And I think your exhaustion is not necessarily fully coming with the busyness, it's coming from performing. And let me explain a bit what I mean about performing. Some of you have grown up like me, where you were taught that women have to be strong. And outside in this world, I have to act like the strong one. And that's what we call it in my community, the strong one. And there's gifts in being the strong one. So don't get me wrong. There are absolute gifts in being the strong one. But there also is some heavy weight and some patterns that we've learned that weren't helpful for us. You know, we act like and had to act like we were okay every single day. And I don't know about you, but I'm not okay every single day by any stretch of the imagination. And I always had to feel like I was the capable one, that I could handle anything and everything. And a lot of times in our culture, we call it wearing the mask, right? We smile and we act like everything is fine, even though inside it's not. So if you're feeling like that, I'm talking to you. If you're not, then this probably isn't for you. But if you feel like I've got to go to work and I've got to act a certain way, you know, when I'm around certain people, I have to act a certain way. And we learn by being the strong one that we're the one that everybody goes to. So when everyone comes to us, we got to handle everything. We got to make sure things get done. And that's a heavy burden. It's a very heavy burden. And what happens over time, there's pieces of your life where you don't ask for help because it starts to feel like sometimes the people around you are all coming to you. So there's no one for you to go to ask for help. And so we get kind of stuck in this cycle. And some of us got to be the strong one because it was the way to survive. It was the way that we had to care for our families. It was the way that we grew up. And that was it, you know, and that's what's happened to us. You know, we became this strong person and we would vent about things and then we put back on our mask and then we go back to performing. And that takes a lot of energy, a lot of energy, you know, and I remember doing that for so long. Some of you may know, some of you probably don't know if you don't know me very well. I've had children in my life and adopted children. And parts of that were super sweet and really, really good. And then things got really, really bad, super, super bad. But on the outside, you couldn't tell a thing. I'm still smiling. I'm still being there for people. At the time, I was still coaching and I was part of different organizations and I was leaders of those organizations. And I'm just doing all these things for people. So people are thinking, wow, she's got this amazing life. She's got things together. She's a leader. And on the inside, things were falling apart. My family was falling apart. But I was performing every time. And you would see me on videos and I would be giving tips and tricks of how to make your life better. And those were true tricks. I mean, don't get me wrong, they work. But on the inside, there was something wrong. There was something missing. And part of it was because I was still performing. I was still doing all these things outside. And at that time, I didn't have community for what I was going through. So I was doing it alone. And it was hard. And I was exhausted. I would sleep at night, but I would still wake up exhausted in the morning. because there was so much going on in my life and so many things that I wasn't putting down. I was still carrying all of that, right? I would vent about it to certain people who knew what was going on, but I wasn't laying it down. I wasn't letting it go. I wasn't getting rid of it. I was still carrying it. And that's the thing I want you guys to realize is that there's a difference between venting about something and just talking about it and actually letting it go. Because there's a different body experience when you actually let something go. How you feel about yourself, how you view the world, those things change when you let something go versus just talking about it. Because, like I said earlier, the talking about it might give you some relief or relieve some of the pressure for a little bit, but then it comes back because we haven't truly let it go. In that situation with my boys and my family, I really had to learn how to let things go. And when I did, like my world changed. I changed. And the kids that I have now in my life will tell you I'm a better person than I was then because I learned to let things go, because I learned how to be my true self and how to heal some of those traumas and old wounds that I used to carry. And so, in this community that we're creating, I want to help other women do the same thing for themselves. And here's the beauty of this: you don't have to be like me, you don't have to perform like me. We don't do any of that. Oh, I can't tell you, it's so wonderful to be part of something where you don't have to be a certain way, where everybody doesn't have to look the same, everybody doesn't have to be the same. And you get to come as you are. If you're upset that day, come. Don't be like, oh, I can't show up because I'm not in the best frame of mind. This ain't that. That's not what this community is about. You get to show up when you're hurting, not just when you're crying, but when you're angry, when you're ticked off, when you're upset, when you're happy, when you've got so much joy, when you're in bliss. You get to show up. That's the key. The key is that you show up and you don't have to perform. You get to show up whatever way you want, participate in the way that you want. There isn't a demand put on you. That's the sacred space that I'm creating, that we're creating, because we're doing it together. So if you're interested in that and that resonates with you, send me a message. I'll send you the information about the circle that we're having tonight. I'm going to continue this conversation on the platform that I spend most of my time on right now, which is Substack. And that is where I do my long form videos, where they're like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, where you'll get more tips, where you'll get more exercises, where you'll see some of the things that really have worked for me and have worked for others in the community and women that I know. We're going to go more in depth on that. And I'm going to continue this video on Substack. And I will put in the comment section, if you're not watching me on Substack, I will put in the comment section how to find me on Substack. But it's simple. It's beyounow.substack.com. And all those words are spelled out, beyounow.substack.com. You can sign up. I have a free version, so no paid. If you want to go more in depth, you can do the paid version where we give you more support and you get to be really a part of the community and talk with us. Have a phenomenal week. If I don't see you this evening at the circle, if you're on the other platforms, take care, enjoy, and I will talk to you soon on Substack. We're going to continue this conversation. So we've been talking about the strong one, and I just alluded to that. And so here's what I want you to know about that. The strong one is the person we say that supports everyone. The woman that everybody goes to, the woman that always figures it out, the dependable one, the responsible one, all of that. That's who we define the strong one as. And I bet if you're like me, different times in your life, you sort of play different roles of that. And it becomes exhausting. It becomes so exhausting. And here's the key I want you to take in. And I'm going to say this slowly and probably repeat it. The reason why you're exhausted is not because you're weak. Not because you need to take another vitamin, not because you need to find another regimen. And maybe you need to do those things. I don't know if your life is out of whack or whatever, but it's not because you're weak. It's because you're performing and you've been doing it for too long. Take that in. You've been performing for too long. And here's the thing what I want to say about performing. Performing means I'm not in true alignment with myself. I'm not being my true self. I'm smiling over here and doing what you really want me to do, but it doesn't light me up. It doesn't bring me joy. So if you spend most of your day doing things that don't light you up, that don't feel like they're in alignment, that don't just make your heart sing, you're performing. Think about this. Those of you who have children and you have those what I call sacred, precious moments with them where you guys might be sitting somewhere and you're talking and your kid's telling some corny joke and you're just smiling and laughing because you're seeing their amusement, you're seeing their joy, even though the joke probably wasn't funny to you, but you're seeing them light up and then you light up, right? That moment there, that's alignment, that's joy, that's really happiness. And you always crave more of those moments. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not always talking about work or your career or your purpose. That's highly important. And we're going to get into that later on. But it's still those little moments. You want more of that in your day. Those of you who love music like I do, you want more dance party breaks in your day, right? That just lights you up and fuels you and makes you feel good. So you want to figure out, how do I not perform so much? How do I let some things go? And right now, if you're full and you're overwhelmed, you might need to let that go first. Before you can even figure out what do I add to my life, you need to probably do some shifting and let some things go. So here's the thing with all of this is that I want you to just breathe for a minute. I've realized there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of talk about manifesting, the secret, all of this stuff. And what I've realized from my women's community and the women that I surround myself with is that they're tired, they're a bit overwhelmed, they're super, super busy. And a lot of times they're busy with things they don't want to be busy with. And all of the secret and all of the manifesting stuff is like, oh, receive, receive, receive. Here's the key. You can't receive if I'm full, or even if I'm beyond full, if I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. You can't receive. Nothing can come in because you're too full. Nothing can penetrate that. So it's not that you might be doing affirmations wrong. You might be doing all those positive things wrong, trying to raise your vibration in the wrong way, or that those things don't work, because they probably really do. But we cannot do it from a place where we're full. That's it. It's like that simple. Like a lot of these things are that simple, but they're not necessarily simple to do. The concept, the statement, how the laws work, universal laws work, are simple. But implementing them, because we've got so many layers and so much junk and all the stories and words in our head, make it all jumbled. But it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's not that the affirmations don't work. It's not that the secret doesn't work for you or manifesting doesn't work for you. The key is, one, that you're probably too full to receive. And the other piece of that is because if you've been like me, you've been in survival mode for so long, you might have developed this thing of, I've got to earn it. Especially if you're here in the United States, right? We have a culture that feels like you can't have satisfaction until you earn it. Right? We have to earn love. We have to earn the belonging. We have to earn the approval. We even have to earn rest in our culture. Oh, I've got to do these 5 things and then I can take a break. I got to do these 5 things and then I can go to bed. We've created this culture of now then I've got to earn my right to receive. So one, we're too full, so we can't let the good stuff in. And then we have a culture that tells us, I have to earn it. Wow. So it's not you. It's the things that we've learned. It's the things that we've been given, those messages we've been given. So just sit with that for a minute. But I want you to imagine, what if you didn't have to earn it anymore? Two things. What if, one, I could let some of that stuff go that makes me so full, and I could get some relief from that? And then on the other side, I learn how to receive without having to earn. What would life be like if you didn't have to perform? If you didn't have to earn it? If you could allow more of the good stuff in and not be so full? Think about that. You didn't have to earn the place to belong, that you didn't have to perform to be accepted. If some of this is resonating with you, or all of this is resonating with you, I want to absolutely invite you to tonight's circle. It's a virtual circle, it's online. If you're interested, send me a private message. We keep it sort of intimate and small. Send me a private message. Let me know that you're interested, and I will send you the link to today, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I want to say that because I'm not sure where you're at or where you're located. Come join us tonight. Come lay some of that stuff down so that you can let more good stuff into your life. You deserve it. I want you to know that. We don't earn things. You deserve it because you breathe. And what I know about the strong one, the women who are the strong one, they are phenomenal people. So you are. I know you're phenomenal people. For you to be there for everybody else, for you to be the capable one, the one that everybody depends on, says that you have this amazing heart. Amazing heart. So you don't need to earn anything. You don't need to prove anything. You belong. So if you're interested, definitely send me a message. If you see this video after Monday at 7 p.m., still send me a message. This is something we will be doing every single month. So let me know so that you can participate in the next one and you don't miss out. You know, the space that we're creating is where you don't have to perform. You don't have to fix yourself. You don't even have to have all the answers. You don't have to have it. You don't have to come and have everything put together and all this other stuff. No, we just lay it down here. We get rid of some of the stuff that doesn't serve us so that we can receive the good and the juicy stuff we want more of in life. That's it. We keep it simple. Have a phenomenal day. For those of you who are joining us tonight, I'm super excited. Can't wait to see you, and take care.